Mooks are people who do not conduct their lives by the code of the golden rule, and they do not accept the principles of justice. These people are dishonorable and disrespectful of the established order of their particular society. They are not necessarily people who are choosing to do this or have awareness of their deficiency. They may be acting on a lack of control over themselves, because of poor life choices, lack of knowledge, ignorance or addictions. Mooks deny that those who possess status, class, net worth and position should be granted more privileges than the average person. They will tell you that they believe that no one deserves to be treated better than anyone else for any reason whatsoever. Yet these persons want to be given what others work for. They want to take more than they are offered by those in power. Give them a gram, they'll take a kilo. If a Mook is granted a student loan to be able to attend an institution of higher learning and becomes unable to continue to make payments, the Mook believes that he or she should be granted amnesty from ever having to pay the loan back, by force from the government if necessary. The Mook does not believe that they should be required to file bankruptcy to accomplish this and suffer a blemish on their credit record. Mooks are inherently jealous and envious of every person that is well off. They want other people's property for themselves. Even when they have never done any amount of work that would have afforded them the ability to obtain those things. The Mook wants what they haven't earned. It does not matter to them that they would not want someone else to covet their possessions. A Mook is a person who wants others to do more for them than they are willing to do for anyone else. They are satisfied with being hypocritical in their actions, but believe that it is perfectly fine to accuse others of being hypocrites. A very common trait of these people is to use an outdated, mythological moral system to judge the actions of others, while simultaneously shrugging off some of those same morals. You may be aware of the terms pawns, suckers, losers, haters, jerks, dopes, fiends, moochers, marks and assholes. Each and every one of these terms is compatible and interchangeable with the term Mook. Just as varied as the hues and opinions are of the human race, that is how varied the landscape is of persons who could be called Mooks. P.T. Barnum, the inventor of the Barnum Circus, which is now known as the Ringling Bros and Barnum and Bailey Circus, is accredited with the saying, "There is a sucker born every minute." P.T. was a shyster who created fake artifacts and mutants to display at his circus to scam his unsuspecting customers out of their money during the mid to late 19th century. His competitor, David Hannum, was most likely the real person who said the saying about P.T.'s scams. But P.T. definitely was aware of how easy it is to dupe the average dope who is unaware. For that reason, you should not be dismissive of what is presented here for your information. Mooks want to use other people for their benefit. They do not care about the fact that they have no rights or authority to do so. Whereas a business owner has the right to use employees to make himself richer, a Mook wants to be able to use every person that they can for their money or possessions. This also includes people that they know, such as family and friends. Mooks will go so far as to live off of the Social Security, disabilities, retirement and pension funds of their elderly and sick relatives. Of course, this plan is also put to use against any unsuspecting or trusting person who unfortunately comes in contact with one of them. A Mook will expect their family and friends to give them whatever it is that they ask of them, but this person will just use that which is given to them without the least bit of intention of reciprocity. The idea of give and take is not a policy that is adhered to by these losers. No one should ever aspire to be anything as disgusting as one of these people described in this chapter. A particularly disgusting type of Mook that is very well known to most people is the drug addict. It is a sad thing for anyone to be addicted to a substance that controls your life, makes you do things that you probably wouldn't do if you weren't high, and regularly skims off a portion of your money. A Mook and their family always lives below their actual income level, but not intentionally. The effects of drug addictions can make addicts act stupid, lie, cheat, be forgetful, be restless, be nauseous and paranoid. It can make them stink, steal, rob, drive high or drunk, be violent, be homicidal, be sexually aggressive, prostitute a child, and sell a child to a pedophile. It also contributes to becoming sick with diseases such as cancer, emphysema, cardiovascular disease, liver disease, diabetes, obesity and more. Parasites are very proficient at leeching off of hosts. They're well-dressed, steady job having clients are their very best customers, because of the fact that almost no one thinks of addicts as being addicts if they are not itching, scratching, stealing, dirty and stinking, bug-eyed fools. Nevertheless, all addicts are Mooks, and all drug dealers are using these Mooks to live lavishly. It does not matter whether you are an addicted user of heroin, cocaine, crack, Prozac, cigarettes, cigars, snuff or chewing tobacco. Weed, classic name for marijuana. Spice, name for synthetic marijuana. Angel dust, PCP, LSD, methamphetamines, Vicodin, Oxycontin, anabolic steroids, diet pills, processed sugar, chocolate, caffeine, morphine or whatever gets you high. If a product makes you buy it and another entity profits immensely off of you, then you are just one of the suckers who are born every minute. You are just a pawn in the game, easily taken out by every other player. Your whole existence is threatened by the habit, yet you can't go without it. You will sex Todd, Bob and rob, steal, Nell, and kill to get your next fix. That is why people who are career addicts are some of the biggest mooks in the world. Paradoxically, people who have no legal right to use someone in a particular way are mooks, and people who allow themselves to be used are also mooks. People who are adults living off of their parents for a much longer time period than what is culturally acceptable, because they do not try hard to make themselves self-sufficient, are incredible mooks. People who mooch off of their friends under the premise that it will just be for a couple of weeks until I find my own place, and then stay way past their welcome are mooks. Lovers of roommates who move in with you and do not believe that they should have to perform any chores for cleanliness, join the lease agreement and pay for a share of the rent or pay a share of the utilities are mooks. Sometimes in life you may fall into a hole and need help from a stronger, more capable entity to pull you back out of that hole onto solid ground again. There is nothing wrong with seeking help when you are in need of help. It is more wrong to not seek help and then let yourself fall deeper into the hole or to fall to your death. If your need dissipates and you continue to accept that help, then there is a problem with that. If you have a child to keep or increase the amount of assistance that you receive, then there is definitely something wrong with that. Assistance is for the needy, not for the lazy or greedy. To live off of the generosity of others and to let it morph into laziness, fraud and theft, is a crime that should be punished just like any other, in kind. To live off of the tax money of taxpayers and to let it morph into laziness, fraud and theft, is a crime that should be punished just like any other, in kind. Mooks are masters at moochology. Sexists, bigots and racists are mooks, because they are insecure about their own abilities, scared of things they don't understand and ignorant of other people that are different from them. They treat particular groups of people as inferior to themselves, to make themselves feel superior. But they are really the ones who are the crumbs. This also applies to the religious against the non-religious. People of faith that hate are haters. It may come as a surprise to you to learn this, but people who hold a position where they only supervise a small amount of people and do not have the authority to fire people yet act like they do, are mooks as well. If your position requires you to report a lack of proper procedure or not following the orders of your superiors and you decide to let violators get a break based on your own judgment, then you are a mook because it is not in your job description to do that. When you overstep your authority, it shows that you have a problem with respecting authority. Most scofflaws and rebels without a cause are just future prison dwellers of tomorrow who hate those in charge. When rapping about the difference between the boss and the mook in his song, Dirt Off Your Shoulders, Jay-Z says this: "I'm a hustler homie, you a customer crony, I got some dirt on my shoulders, could you brush it off for me?" The boss knows that mooks are customers, who are envious of the hustlers. They are dope fiends who are dirty and clean and haters of others' dreams come true. They have chips on their shoulders, because they feel like the world owes them a place to stay, a car, a job, someone else's money, a free lunch, a free dinner, and a free breakfast. If you see these characteristics in someone else or yourself, then you have successfully learned how to identify mooks. Continue to the next video. How to Become the Boss, Part 4.